lucky listeners. Here we are once again. I'm here with my co-host, Omar Henderson.
Hello, folks.
And I'm Chris Downing, since he won't say Chris Downing.
I know, and he's Chris Downing.
I'm Chris Downing. Hey, anyway, no, thank you for joining us once again for another episode of Not Your Common Conversation.
We need to learn to say that together.
Thank you for joining us Thank you for joining us on another episode of Not Your Common Conversation.
Hey.
And if you're on Instagram, it's NYC Pod. NYCC Pod.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
NYCC Pod.
Yes.
And if you're on YouTube or where's the other place? Spotify, iTunes. Check us out. We're doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
So, Omar, we did like about 4 episodes with guests. 4 or 5 episodes,
exactly.
Actually.
We did Phil, then we did Vance, then we did Vance and Phil together, then we did Ian Issa, and then we got a new one coming up with Victoria. It's going to be
Eisenhower?
Eisenhower. Spelled like ice and Hauer.
Yeah, and she's the love scientist, as she calls herself.
Which is we had a great conversation.
Great conversation. You got to look out for that one. That's going to be good. That's going to be good.
Definitely want to look out for that one.
I thought that we should. It's been a while since we've been in the what looks like the Fishbowl.
Exactly.
And I thought it'd be cool. And I checked with you, and we said let's do something. Let's get back to our roots.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
Anything particular you want to talk about?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, today was a rough day.
Today was a rough day for you.
Today was a rough day.
How so?
I'm thumbing through Instagram, and I'm seeing all these videos of dead children in a hospital floor.
Uh-oh.
And it's breaking my heart, man. So I ended up calling the White House, and I called my congressman again.
Okay, again.
Yeah.
You're referring to?
I'm referring to the Palestinian-Israeli issue.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's very sad.
It's a sad human issue.
But here's an irony. The United States of America has created 2 monsters. It's like Frankenstein monsters.
Okay.
Yeah. And they are the Taliban and the Zionist movement.
It's bad, man. I mean, I didn't know we were gonna. This is a downer. It's bad, man. Well, but I know it's close to your heart, man.
Yeah,
it's like right there for you.
Well, that's a good point because it's thousands of miles away from me.
Right.
If I didn't have Instagram,
6,000 according to
exactly.
Vance.
If there was no Instagram, if there was no mass media,
so you're on it, like you check it all the time.
Oh, I just go on Instagram and it's there because
you're in it. It's
the algorithm has set
your algorithm.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't even want to say what I get, but yeah,
I get some of that too.
I know you do. But yeah, I mean, it's a sad human problem. Humans have been savages, and as much as sad as it is, and as much of it as a downer, it's happening. And I look at it. I can't. I pray when I see it on the news, man. I go into a prayer quickly and say, God, please, please, please lift this. Bring something in their hearts on both sides that would have them cease fires. I mean, stop. I listened to Michael Rappaport. I am Stereo Rappaport. I am Rappaport. Yeah, I've been listening. He's been I've been listening to him almost from day one. I'm a fan. The Gringo, as he calls himself.
Okay.
Gringo. And he had a woman on. He's a Jewish guy, and so his point of view is definitely. He said on this last podcast that he was going to Israel. He's going to Israel. And he had a woman on there who's, up front losing family members. And, I mean, it's a shitstorm, again, on both sides. We can go back and forth, who's right, who's wrong. We know the stories. I just look at it as anybody dying on both sides is a travesty, is sadness, and it just makes me think, why do humans do this? And I think about religions. I think of all these isms and schisms that has us think that one is right and the other one is wrong, and blah 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 blah. Listen, stop. Just and I know it's complicated. I know it's not as easy as just saying stop.
Yeah, right.
So
it is. And to your point, yes, I didn't want to bring us down. And so I will highlight something else that you just said, which was, I can't remember what it was, but what came to my mind is, in the face of all of this turmoil, in the face of all of that, we can't lose sight of what we really want, like what our vision, what our goal is, what our desire is for the planet, for each other. And so...
you mean the human race?
Yeah, the human race. So I
would hope it's love for all mankind.
So what I've taken on doing, because, I could call Joe Biden or my congressman until I'm blue in the face, and maybe they'll hear me, maybe they won't. But I posted something on Facebook yesterday.
I respect that, by the way.
Well, thanks.
You being active.
My mother used to call the White House and write regularly.
So that's where you...
I guess that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
And they do have a phone line that you can call on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 11 and 3.
Right.
You can call up and they take the message, or you can record. They'll either take the message, they'll hear you, they'll take it down, write it down, or you can record. They'll like a voicemail.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
and then when you call your congressman, the lady actually listens and actually writes down every word you say as best as she can. And if she can't write down every word, she captures what you've said and recreates it, like, to the T.
So do you hear this, lucky listeners? If you want to get active, Omar's, I guess, are you letting everyone know?
Call your congressman, call the White House, let them know. But more importantly, and this is what I was getting at. So I could call all these guys, and leave messages and, toss hope to the wind or whatever. Or where can I start myself? Where can I start to make a difference in the world? And the way to start to make a difference is how I communicate and connect with everybody I come in contact with. There's a usual way and an old way of being that I've been being, and then there's a new way of being that has me want to and strive to and be successful in connecting with these people.
With what? When you say these people?
The people that I meet on a daily basis. I see patients. And the purpose of that is, if I'm about having effective dialogue between conflicting parties,
right,
then I have to start right here where I stand.
Yeah.
Right here where I stand.
I mean, I would think that would be the case regardless whether this was happening or not.
Yes.
I mean, that's just who we are, I believe, as people. And yeah, I just think it's a good way to be as a human being.
It is.
To bring, I mean, some people might think, love and just consideration for the person in front of you or the people around you, the community that you're in, that might be corny or what have you.
Right.
But I mean, listen. All you have to do is turn on the news, the internet, or what have you. There's plenty of horrible. This guy who today just in Arlington, who had and nobody knows why, he was firing off flares
in his
house and then blew the whole house up, and nobody knows what that was about. And I don't necessarily have to go into it. I mean, I don't think we're doing a horror podcast, but these kind of things happen. But again, at the end of the day, who do you choose to be in the world? I mean, what kind of energy do you choose to bring around you? And listen, shit's going to happen. Again, who do you choose to be in the matter?
All of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I think that's important. That's why I think that we're choosing to do this podcast, is to create, by demonstration, by who we are, a positive conversation, regardless of what our views are. I mean, we don't necessarily have to agree, or the guests that we have on, or what's out in the world, we don't necessarily have to agree with, but it's how we communicate around it.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Regardless of how the circumstances or what the circumstances are, we always have a choice. I've even come to that conclusion.
Your socks on the camera. Go ahead.
You can't see me, but okay. All right. I've even come to that conclusion regarding health.
Right.
So a lot of us will, So now I won't say a lot of us. So there's a concern that I have.
Good.
I'll speak for myself, and maybe some of you lucky listeners will resonate with this or see this in yourselves and other people. But there's a concern that, if my health begins to fail, do I collapse that with who I am as a person?
Ooh, that's pretty good.
So
do you bring, if there's some part of your body
right
that
is ailing,
do you become an ailing person?
Yeah, right.
On the outside,
do I become the persona of I'm in pain, I'm sick?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a choice.
And you had to deal with some pretty devastating.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've had illnesses, and I mean, as we all have, and again, that was I didn't think about it necessarily. Well, I did, and I didn't on a day-to-day. I mean, I continued to be who I am.
Yeah, and see, that's just it. You dealt with it as if it were one thing.
Yeah.
And then there's other things over here.
Yeah.
And you are still you in all of it.
Yeah.
So you didn't collapse, your personality or your being with what you were dealing with, and then have it be like, I mean, there were times when possibly you weren't physically able to do something.
Right.
But it's not like you could have gone into a depression and everything around you could have fallen apart.
It's funny. It's interesting you say that, because I don't remember being depressed.
You weren't.
Yeah, you were there, right?
You weren't.
And I don't. I just thought that first of all, I believe in science and the doctors and nurses that cared for me. I believed them, and the friends and family that cared for, like yourself. I believed, and so for me, it was quite. It's something that I have to move through. It's temporary. It's not me. It's something that I have to move past.
Yeah, right.
And if I don't, let's say, I mean, there are people. I had cancers, lucky listeners, and I don't want to go into it, but I had cancer 2.5 years ago. Omar was a big help, and lots of friends out there were friends of my close friends showed up in amazing ways. Interesting enough, there were also friends and family who didn't show up as much as I thought they would. But, I mean, that's neither here or there. The point of the matter is that I just felt like this was something that is happening to me. I'm going to listen to the team that's working with me. Shout out to the John Hopkins team over at Dr. Page and Dr. Farrell and Mitlar, and they were just amazing people, and they continue to be that way. And I tell people, when you get sick, you gotta lean into it. Like, you gotta lean into it. Be proactive.
Right.
Find out as much information. Put your own team together, your friends and family who can offer you help and understanding, because there's a lot that comes at you. But again, like the point that we're trying to make is that it's as long as you're living, and it's a day-to-day, especially when you're sick, it's a day-to-day thing, battle, struggle. But as long as you have your eyes open, or you have breath, and you have a chance to make a difference.
Yeah.
In whatever big or small way.
Right, exactly. And I would liken, so that's typically of anything and everything. I mean, you had to deal with an illness. Like for instance, I'm embarking on starting this band, another band, right? So, we had like one little kind of get together, rehearsal, get to know each other kind of thing, right?
Right.
And then subsequent to that, another thing, people, I got drink plenty of water and get enough sleep.
Oh, super duper important.
Because when you don't take care of yourself personally, like your health and stuff like that, then all your thoughts and feelings are going to be subjected to that. And it's it's very difficult to generate yourself when you're not taking care of yourself. So subsequent to that,
whoa, you said something that was pretty cool. You said what was that again?
I say you won't be able to generate yourself.
You won't be able to generate yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't
take care of yourself.
If you don't take care, you won't be able to generate yourself if you don't take care of yourself. Plain and simple.
Exactly.
You get that? Like if you won't sustain yourself if you don't
take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
And water and sleep. Water,
sleep, nourishment. I would add exercise.
Oh, definitely exercise.
Positive thinking. That's why you got to get exercise.
I would dare say, positive thinking is like, it's
shit's real.
Well, yeah, it is real. It is real. But, like you and I, we don't force it. It just comes. Yeah. And I think with most of the people that we associate with, it just comes.
Well, I think that's because it's just like anything. The more you do it, the more it becomes you. Like, just like you're a musician. I can remember when you started embarking on this whole embarking. Is that
embarking on
being a musician again? Because
right. I had done it years ago.
You had done it many years ago.
Right.
many years ago.
Many moons.
When you had hair.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, I'm going to be a musician again. What was that? 20, 30 years later?
Yeah. 30, almost 35 years later.
Check that out, boys and girls, lucky listeners.
Well, and that is an example of what we're talking about, which is the vision has always been there.
The vision. So you were always a musician, but let's say you were, you came out of retirement. But my bigger point is that I remember you saying, I don't know, it was 5-6 years ago, it was like, I'm going to pick up the bass and guitar again. I'm going to be a musician. Music has always been in my life as well, and I've been kind of out of it for the last 20 years or so, maybe 15 years. You assumed the position. You started playing and moving like a musician, whether it was going to rehearsals. I mean, a band. You got in a band, a hip hop band at this point in your life, and with younger people. You're probably the oldest person in the band.
Definitely.
But that didn't stop you. And my bigger point is that the more you did that, the more it becomes easy to do. Like it's who you are. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm a musician. You can, or it's like somebody saying, hey, yeah, I'm black. Well, I'm black because clearly I'm black. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to act black. I'm black.
Right.
And it's like I don't have to act like a musician, or I don't have to act after you do this, and it becomes a part of your regimen and your day. That's it's like putting on your shoes and walking around.
Exactly.
And so the point I want to make out is that whatever you want to do out there, lucky listeners, you do it.
You just
do it. You don't talk about it, be about it. Just do it. And you'll look up and you'll be like, damn, it's like riding a bike. Oh wow, I remember look, Daddy, Mommy, I'm riding a bike. Exactly. I got it now.
Exactly.
I got it. So I think, just do it. Some big.
Well, I mean, like even in your case, man. I mean, you at some point in life you said, "I'm going to be a sound engineer." And bam.
Yeah.
I don't mean like bam, like overnight, but
it's never overnight.
You focused, you took the steps, and here you are. And then
sound
you said,
engineer.
"I'm going to produce video." And next thing you know, you got cameras.
Right.
It's like okay.
Yeah, you got it.
And you're successful at it.
Yeah,
it's like
it's been a long 30-something years. Boom. Done a lot, traveled all over the world, up for a Grammy, all kinds of stuff.
Up for a Grammy. Check that out.
Which is crazy, which is nuts to me. But again, you have to, it's the time that you. What does Malcolm Gladwell say? Which Malcolm Gladwell did that interview, the Dave Page. that podcast I
Yeah.
sent you, Broken Records.
Right.
That was Malcolm Gladwell doing the interview.
Oh.
Yeah, he does that with it's another guy and Rick Rubin. They trade off. They almost sound alike.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
but yeah, you it's I don't want to make it sound simple, but that's the same thing that you apply to exercise, and it's also the same thing you apply to, if you like that you said earlier, you get sick, some part of the body breaks down, like everything. I mean, it's like your car. At some point, if you live 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, something's going to break down.
Yeah, some things are going to break down.
It's just the nature of life. You can't possibly think that nothing's going to happen. So I don't know why people always like, oh, my God, my heart. Yeah. I mean, oh, my leg. Yeah. Shit. I mean, it's nothing.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing that you have
that's gonna
that
last
long
forever.
that's going to last. But,
I know, even though we like it to.
Yeah. But the difference is I don't have to. I can continue to be the person that I am, and not easy,
No.
but continue to have a good life until that, in most cases, is fixed.
And
then I'm back up. It's like a flat tire. And then I'm back up again. The car's back on the road again.
Back on the road.
I change the spark plugs, and I'm good.
There's a verse in the Quran where God says that He does not place a burden on you greater than you can bear. So that's probably also in the Bible somewhere.
Yeah, God.
Right.
Trouble doesn't last for so long, or something like that.
Right. And so that I would say is relative to from person to person, and we have an opportunity to expand our capacity for hardship. But I'll put it to you this way. When you actually choose to take on a bigger goal, in that moment, you also, I mean, your capacity for handling breakdowns gets challenged. Does that make sense? When you choose a bigger goal, like let's just say, like for instance, you're in the midst of making a motion picture.
I'm trying. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm writing a script.
Exactly. You're writing a script. Right. That's a
mine.
big deal.
Yeah.
You're looking at national, maybe if not international distribution.
Yeah. I got to get
You're
back
looking
on
at,
it.
Yeah. You're looking at hiring, actors who will meet up to your expectations.
Sure.
And then there's the whole slew of crew members.
Yeah, I mean it's a thing.
It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. And so and then it's a huge thing.
But one piece at a time.
One piece at a time.
Yeah.
And
First,
one piece at a time.
Script.
And because it's so huge, you can expect the pushback and or the breakdowns or mishaps to be, proportionately huge compared to what you're up to, right?
Yeah. I mean that's par for the course.
Okay, got it.
And don't get all crazy when things happen. It's like you're a big I don't know why this popped in my mind. I know you're a big race car driver. Race car fan.
Yeah, not a driver yet.
Not a driver yet, but fan. That's another thing you put in your belt. But I know you're a big, and I thought about people, racers on the racetrack. There's all kinds of things that's going to happen.
Oh my gosh!
And that's why they have pit stops. And so you go for a pit stop and you do what you need to do and you get back out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same thing. But I do want to. I don't want to get. I don't want this podcast to end without us talking about some of the conversations that we've had already. It's crazy. We're 8 episodes in.
Yeah.
Like you said, we've got the Love Scientist coming in. We've talked to Ianessa Humbert, who she's, a PhD, smart sister, smart woman. A musician. She just sent me some of her compositions or one of her compositions and 2 favorite songs that I like of mine.
Right.
Hello and the Bee Gees. What was the Bee Gees? I can't think of it. How Deep Is Your Love?
All right.
Which is one of my favorites. And then we had Vance. Greg, who's just a smart guy, attorney, former professor, building.
So we had all those people on. So tell me.
Phil Lawson. I just want to go through the list. Phil Lawson, smart guy.
Yeah.
Lawson. I just want to give props to all these great guests that we have.
Okay, got it. I got it. And so my question to you is, with all the conversations, is there anything that in your memory that stands out for you from the many conversations? Was there, a phrase, a particular conversation, or whatever that stood out for you?
I can't think of a particular phrase right at this moment, but what stood out was how generous everyone was to come on the show, and how I feel like we've got such a wide range. People often ask me what the show is about, what common conversation, and I try to explain to them that it's in the way that we have conversations with people.
Yeah.
One of the things. Our guest, Victoria, accidentally called me today. And then she said, well, yeah, but there's no accident. And she said, wow, I really loved the conversation we had. I like that everyone had their own point of view and shared in, evenly. And she just felt comfortable in that conversation. I said, yeah, that's what we're up to. Whether again, it's not about agreeing. It's not about pointing the finger. It's not about, it's really having having people in, creating an environment, a space where people can have conversations with us, where people like yourselves, lucky listeners, can listen in and get something out of it.
Yeah. Hopefully something you can use.
Yeah, something you
can use.
Absolutely.
So, cool. And is there anything else you wanted to say about those conversations that we had with Vance and Phil?
Vance and Phil were interesting because we had when COVID happened, when the pandemic, as Vance says, the plandemic.
Yeah.
When it happened at the beginning, 3 years ago, we would get on these Zoom calls.
Yeah.
And they would say both at times mind-provoking things.
Right.
And it was good they just met, by the way. They had just met for the first time.
Physically, yeah.
Physically just met.
Yeah.
And so, nothing stands out. I don't know. How about you?
Well, actually, there is one experience that stands out, and that's when we were talking to Ianisa.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was when I began to raise the question about women feeling disempowered.
Oh.
Yeah. And then she turned and asked me, do I feel disempowered? And I was like, wow. Huh. First of all, I thought that was an interesting question. Secondly, it was what
came up?
Well, it was a little off-putting because I'm on camera.
Right. You're like, what? No, I got you.
But at the same time, it was an opportunity to display and be comfortable with being vulnerable.
Yes. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one moment that stood out for me. Other moments, I felt like, especially when we were talking to Vance and Phil together, that's when my energy and fire, I guess, around the whole Middle East thing kind of showed up. But
yeah, that's an interest for you.
Yes, yeah, definitely it is. And I wanted to say earlier, and I'm sorry, folks, it's not so much about myself, but I'm going to offer this, and maybe you see yourselves in it. When something upsets you that you see out in the world,
mm-hmm.
and you have nothing to do with at that moment, but you see it and it upsets you, why does it upset you? And you don't have to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it trigger inside of you? Because, it's like, yeah, there has to be a connection between you and that thing that's out there. And it may have been an experience in your life that looks similar, that actually happened to you, but it's so deeply buried that you don't know that is the genesis of why you feel the way you feel.
Right. I mean, that happens a lot. That oftentimes happens. And I don't think people really pay attention to where the origin of their upsets are.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's more about the surface stuff and less about what's really going on in the background.
Right, exactly.
And sometimes people can't get to it. They don't understand.
Yeah,
they can't get to it. You know,
they have no idea.
That's where therapy comes. But I also want to talk about. That was great. I also want to remind people that we got some really cool up and coming shows. We've got a young lady who's going to talk about finance. She has a finance company, a coaching finance company, and helps people better understand and take on their finances, because oftentimes, we don't dare talk about things like taxes or, how much money you make. People tend to shy away from that, but I mean that's part of our lives, and I think when we take it on and we're proactive about it, we have a better relationship with it. And that's what when I think about it, that's what she offers, a better relationship with your finances.
Oh, cool.
And
is this the same lady that also has the AI program that helps you manage money or something? Remember you were talking about.
I can't. Maybe. No, I don't think so. This is Kendall Jones, I believe is her name. Kendall Jones.
All right.
She's very, very smart woman. Very ambitious and positive, and I met her at an event, I think earlier this year or last year, a friend of mine's birthday party, actually. Joya Jefferson, shout out to Joya Jefferson. She has a great podcast out on all the podcast platforms. I think it's Unshackled Leadership for Black women. Unshackled, check it out.
Check it out.
We produce it here at Dream Life Media Group.
Way to go!
But she's rocking it out. So I just want to say that we're going to have a lot. Look forward to a lot of great programming that we got up. We're also going to have. We've got a boxer, mental health. We got a mental health person. That's right.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about mental health.
Health.
We've got a boxer, I believe, that's coming in. Our co-producer Brandon Bailey Harper is also doing some programming. He's younger than us, so he's bringing some excitement to this whole thing, keeping us relevant.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon.
He does amazing work. Amazing work. He's in the control room now, recording us, and so. Just stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. We got some cool things coming up for 2024.
Yeah, listen out for our original music, too.
Yes, our original music. All the music, by the way, that you've heard and will hear in the future is all music that Omar and myself compose. We just put little ditties out there. They can always be. They're just ditties, and so if anybody likes anything and wants to, produced, and that's a whole nother level. But we just put these things out there, cool things we put out.
Yeah, exactly.
So stay tuned. I think that's it.
Yeah, we look forward to have you all hearing us, and if you would be so kind as to write back or
please,
say something on social media, because
Instagram
we'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
In the year coming up. So that it'll
NYCC Pod on Instagram.
It'll help us grow. And
website, notyourcommonconversation.com.
Okay, there you go.
Yep, and we're gonna do the damn thing. 2020, 2024.
2024. How about that?
We got some stuff. What's my man? Is it Antoine Douglas? He's gonna come and show you what the fight game is all about.
Okay, that'll be
so we got some things. Then we're gonna talk production. We're gonna talk about music and what goes behind the scenes and this whole production world. I've been in production over 30 years. Everything from sound engineering. I've been on the road. I've mixed for a bunch of people. I'm gonna talk about some of that stuff without not exposing too much people's business, but maybe put some things out there.
And I've watched a lot of movies.
And he's watched a lot of movies, and he's been a musician for a very long time. Is in a band now. Yeah. TMI.
Yeah, you'll see some clips of us.
You got it. What's the Instagram? TMI.
TMI Band Official. is the Instagram.
Okay, check.
TMI Band Official.
Go and check that out. And they play out all the time. They're all over the city, the DMV area. He's also Omar's putting another band together. I don't know, is that a secret?
No, that's not a secret. No,
Okay.
I'm thinking of naming the band Phantom Funk.
Phantom Funk.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And the reason being, there's a reason behind it. The reason is we're going to be covering songs that are danceable, energetic, yet aren't very popular. Thus, the phantom aspect of it.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So you make fun of the fact that I told you my patients all tell me. But here's the deal. I see hundreds of people a week.
Yeah, I know. I got that.
Yeah, so that's a fairly decent market research.
Yeah, okay,
especially
that's a
over
nice
the span.
Little SWOT analysis.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
Especially over the span of a year or more.
And they love your playlist.
Oh my God, they love my playlist. I mean, they're like, I bring them into my room. I'm walking them from their room and like, oh, I'm going to hear good music. I'm going to hear good music. That's what I hear.
No, that's nice.
Then they stand there like, how do you expect me to stand here and pose when I feel like dancing? That's the other thing.
And I might add, so that little gesture goes a long way. To hear some good music,
yeah,
when you're maybe not feeling so well,
right?
It goes a long way. So
that's right.
I mean, those are the kind of things that make an impact. That's what we mean by making showing up in the world and making a difference.
Yeah.
Little things like that.
It's
change.
a contribution.
Yeah, and
I got a sign in my room that says Disco Radiology, and they love it.
Okay,
they love it.
There you go. I mean, what can you say? So there you have it. Thank you, you lucky listeners, as Omar is going.
Yeah.
You lucky listeners. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for the 2023, and we look forward to seeing you in 2024.
Not Your Common
Conversations.
Conversations.